The Eagles suffer another rough loss this week to the Chicago Bears, 24-15. The Chicago Bears ran all over this elite Philadelphia Eagles run defense. I mean, the Chicago Bears had over 250 yards of rushing. Kyle Mungai and DeAndre Swift both had over 125 yards rushing, both with a rushing touchdown. The Chicago Bears run attack has been great and really one of the bright spots of the Chicago Bears offense. Caleb Williams has been up and down still. He completed under 50% of his passes today. It was kind of an ugly game to watch, only 4.3 yards per throw. But again, with the Chicago Bears, they have this offensive identity with running the ball. Ben Johnson, we saw it in Detroit the past couple of years. He loves getting his running backs going. And we're seeing this year with the Lions that they're not getting the run game going as well as they did in years past, with both Gibbs and Montgomery struggling at times throughout the season. The Chicago Bears definitely have an improved interior offensive line. Overall, just an improved offensive line from last year. That definitely helps. But with Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter being potentially the best defensive tackle duo in the league, to allow the Chicago Bears to run all over you after having a very impressive game against the Lions where they have some of the best running backs, that was a pure shocker to me. This game really shocked me from the Bears. Not to mention with all the injuries that the Bears have in the linebacking core and in the secondary, for them to go out and play very well against this Eagles team, I was very impressed. Now, I'm not sure if I can give the credit to the Bears defense all that much. This has been a thing all year pretty much for the Eagles offense. They just are struggling to get anything going offensively. We all know how bad Kevin Petula is. He's not a good offensive coordinator. I'm not sure why they don't remove play calling duties from him and move to somebody else, try to create some kind of spark. Jalen Hurts, too. I mean, there needs to be some questions about him. I mean, we're seeing it right now. When the run game's not working and you're asking Jalen Hurts to throw the football a bunch, it doesn't lead to a lot of success all the time. And we saw that again today where he's struggling to get, not Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown going again. I mean, this has been an issue in the pass game all year. I'm not sure what's going on exactly. Saquon Barkley, I mean, after a historic year last year, he's averaging less than 4.5 yards per game. I mean, there's been games this year where he's averaging 3 yards a carry. Saquon Barkley, for whatever reason, is not going well this year. I'm not sure if it's just because of the O-line and the injuries, but I just have a hard time believing just a little battered O-line is really affecting the guy with elite talent like Saquon Barkley. And this is another example of, hey, sometimes your defense isn't going to be there in a game. Sometimes your great defense is going to have an off night. This is one of those days where the defense was off, and you have to ask your offense to do a little more, and the Eagles just did not do that. And, they're 8-4. The Cowboys are 6-5-1. It's not impossible for the Cowboys to surpass the Eagles at this point. And if I'm the Eagles, I am a little worried. I mean, I don't think anybody's looking at the Eagles right now as a real contender. I don't know if anybody really would think they'd be better than the Seahawks or the Rams. Heck, I mean, I kind of assumed they'd beat the Bears pretty convincingly today, and that did not happen. So I'm not sure. I think the Eagles have to be a little worried about this offense. I'm not sure what they can really do right now with their play calling and with the way Jalen Hurts is playing. I mean, some of this has to be blamed on Nick Sirianni too. Look, just because you win a Super Bowl as a head coach doesn't mean you're a great head coach. There's been plenty of okay coaches that have won Super Bowls. Just ask Gary Kubiak with the Denver Broncos. I mean, nobody thought he was a great head coach. I still just feel like Nick Sirianni is the rare case of a guy continuing to fail upwards in the NFL, and is a guy that really relies on making sure that he nails the offensive coordinator spot. Because we're seeing it too with the Lions, like with not having a good offensive coordinator when you're a head coach that's not a play caller, it's pretty hard for your offense to find continued consistent success when your coordinators are leaving for head coaching jobs. That is always the issue when you hire a guy like Nick Sirianni, a Dan Campbell, or even like a Mike McDonald in Seattle, is when your OC gets poached, it's hard to continue nailing your offensive coordinator hires. The Eagles have a good chance of winning the division still. They have to play the Commanders and the Giants. Not the Giants, but the Commanders again, and they have a pretty favorable schedule throughout the rest of the year. I think they still win the division, but I don't think anybody right now can look at this Eagles team and think they can win the Super Bowl, let alone a couple playoff games. And with the way Dallas played yesterday, I'd be a little worried if I was Philadelphia. They had an impressive comeback win last week. They might have the best two receiving tandem in the league with CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. And Javonte Williams has been cooking too. I would be a little worried if I was Philadelphia. I would not want to play them in the playoffs. I think Dak Prescott's having a great year. I think Brian Schottenheimer's been a lot better than I think anybody could have expected. I'm not really sure how to feel about this Eagles team going forward. There needs to be personnel changes after this season. And I'm curious to see now. We've seen the A.J. Brown drama, him going on Twitch complaining to the reporters and speculations of him being traded during the trade deadline. It's going to be an interesting offseason for the Eagles and an interesting finish to this season. I'm just really going to keep my eyes on this Eagles team because I feel like there's some kind of implosion coming. Losing 2 in a row like this late in the season. This is November, December football. This is not when you want to see your team collapse and play bad. But anyway, Black Friday football, it's not bad.